Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live on the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeartMedia studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, I'm joined on the show with Erin Heit, head coach, CEO, IR Bootcamp. And if you want somebody to help you manage your image, your corporate image, this is your go-to person. Erin has worked with some of the biggest brands and has taken them from a startup into, an exit of $4 billion. Erin, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Good to be here.
My pleasure. You give us a little flavor for your background, and then I want to get into how you recognize the need for this particular service that you bring to, to the private and the public markets for the CEOs.
Sure. My background's always been business, and I fell into startup companies at very early on in my career. And with that, I worked under the founder, typically, creating marketing plans, branding for the product. However, part of that product and part of that brand was really branding the CEO and the founder along with that, because when you are launching a new company, in order to really get the brand out there, you need to be the face of the company. You need to tell the story. You need to be clear. You need to have your messaging on point. And one of the first companies that I was able to do that with was Vitamin Water. And that was out of New York. And I had a great run with them. And fortunately, the founder of Vitamin Water was a dynamic personality, and he really understood marketing, not only from a brand standpoint, but the importance of marketing himself as the face of the brand. And I think that was really when I was turned on to the whole idea of marketing the CEO behind the brand. And from there, I was very successful. That brand took off. And then I went on to another beverage brand, Fuse Beverage, and sort of followed the same model. And of course, you come across some scenarios in business where you're not going to be so lucky to find a CEO that is so easy to work with or that does have that charisma, that natural charisma. And so as I evolved in business, the branding side of the product became to be, pretty seamless for me, but it was really where I saw the challenges was branding the CEOs. So, just to fast forward several years, just to get to where I'm at today, was when I started working with publicly traded companies, really recognizing the need even more so for the CEO to be presentable, because they have a responsibility to tell the story of their company to the public market. And that is what is going to get buy-in and to their stock. And if they are a revenue-producing company, if they are a real company, but if they can't present it, there's going to be a disconnect. And I came in contact with that, unfortunately, with a couple of my clients, seeing that there was such a great company operations, but the CEO could not present it. And it was something that I recognized as more frequently than less frequently. That's where I'm at today, where I decided to take that and really do something about it and create a one-day intensive training to try to get these CEOs in line and get them in shape for what they, need to do, which is be able to talk about their company in a confident way and on multiple platforms.
Now, let's get into what happens in your boot camp. And if you would, as you're explaining what happens in the boot camp, give us some examples of where people have come to you with less than, let's say, stellar natural skills, and how you build them into a better image for not only themselves, because then sometimes they build up a brand and they move on. So it's their personal brand, not just the corporate brand. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, of course. Well, the boot camp, what I've done is through my relationships and my experience, I've really pulled in contacts and resources that I feel are the highest priority. And set up basically a one-on-one, very intimate environment for each CEO to really get a handle on each area that they would need to be able to present their company. So, for example, I have a gentleman joining us who really focuses on media, not only getting media attention, but also doing media training for the CEO. Because most of the times, even if it's print, they want a quote from the CEO. They might want to get on the phone and talk to the CEO. And that's going to reflect in the article that they write. Or even, as you know, Michael, radio. If they're going to go on a radio show, they need to be able to have their confidence and energy exude over the phone into the radio. People will feel that. So this gentleman not only can get to the end touch points, such as getting into media, but he will also sit with each CEO and give them a brief media training, explaining how do you handle when somebody asks you a question, how to keep on point, how to get your point across in a short, concise manner. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is really as simple as appearance. I have a couple of females that are coming in that really specialize in appearances, from hairstyles to dressing styles. I think when a person looks sharp, they feel sharp, they're going to act sharp. And that's what they're going to do. They are going to give the boost of confidence in these CEOs' appearances. I can go down the punch list, but I don't want to take all the time. But if you go to my website, it's a breakdown. But just to give you an example, we're trying to cover all the highest priority facets to get the CEO in shape in a short period of time to be able to feel equipped to dealing with media and marketing themselves.
Because it can be very unforgiving in some cases. Television, you've got to have. So you're going to say, look, here are some different current hairstyles that can go with the image that you're trying to present for your company, because a skateboarding company is a little bit different than a biotech company, and you've got different audiences you've got to appeal to. So what I'm getting is you help them hone that in, because CEOs can sometimes be real number crunchers and not necessarily real personality people, and you help bring that out is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's not a suit that fits every person.
Right.
But the CEO needs to feel comfortable in their own skin, but they need to also. Unfortunately, the world is very judgmental, and if there's a CEO, whether it be a skateboarding company or a financial institution, and they're being interviewed on TV and they look a mess, it's going to be a harder sale to say no, but my company's fine. Because then people just make a judgment on appearances. It is what it is. So whether it be a more liberal, fun, casual company, they can most certainly appear that way. But there is a presence, there is an appearance to just maintain some type of professionalism and just really making sure that CEO feels confident. I think that's really the most important takeaway, is that they feel confident, they feel sharp, because that's what's going to come across.
Okay, so because really, one day is not a lot of time to put into this. So you're saying come through, once they get through your clinic, they've got a better handle on somebody that's bringing them up to speed on the latest fashion for the clothes that they wear, the way they do their hair, so that if they're on television, they look right. But on the other end of it, you also bring back in the personality side of it. How do they present themselves? What do you do when you get a CEO that shows up, his shirt tail's hanging out, he hasn't had a haircut in 4 months, and he's really not a big personality person? Is that the classic, okay, this is where I really show what I can do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to believe that if they're coming to the boot camp, that they're going to be coming with an open mind, because the boot camp is really a place to hone in on those appearances and also the skills. I don't want to take away from all the actual tools that we'll be providing at the CEO boot camp, such as a PowerPoint presentation, media points, press releases, actual video interviews. So there will be means to exercise what you're learning, but they are coming because they want help. They're not, or maybe somebody's forcing them to come. But so hopefully with their open mind, and if they recognize that they need some assistance, the boot camp could give them that first encounter with how really important this is, and whether or not they change miraculously in one day or not, they now have resources that they feel comfortable with because they've had a good one-on-one time with each of these service providers that they can then turn to them for further help and assistance along the way throughout their duration of being in a management position.
Oh, they can come back. All right. Now, Erin, we've got to go to a break, but before we do, please, contact information for your boot camp.
Sure. Very easy. www.ceoirbootcamp.com.
All right. We'll be right back with Erin Heit, head coach, CEO IR Bootcamp, CEOIRBootcamp.com.